Hello there, guys. I know it's a little bit dark and I'm a little bit quiet, but my boys are asleep on the sofa bed at the back of the living room, and I did actually roll the blind down, but it woke Shiloh up, so I've resettled him. And of course, Graham has rang me, and he rings me like every half an hour or every moment where he would usually wobble and have a bit of a drink, and he just sort of goes and does something a little bit different. And he said something really lovely to me today. And for those who are just coming on live, hello. It's just past 1:30 here in the UK. I'm in Portsmouth in Southsea. And for those who don't know me, my name is Kelly. And for those who do, hello and welcome back. For whatever reason that you're here, I've got a lot for you on this live today, and for those who have been involved in the family courts, some very, very interesting progress has happened, and there's a lot of movement going on while Parliament is suspended. And I've sort of landed myself a job for somebody who, well, let's just say it puts me 2 positions for his auntie. Actually, yeah, so him, his auntie, and Boris Johnson. So this is very interesting. I took a really big leap of faith a couple of months back. Actually, it was when I had the police at the door asking me to stand down as the director of Step Up Britain, and basically saying that if I continue what I'm doing, it's a shoot to kill. And he was kicking off because they were all here in the news and the press and stuff, and he was being arrested. And all of a sudden they were evicting him, but they had his meeting out here in the garden, and I sort of kicked off that this was not right, and they needed to maybe research some of these names and realise that maybe he didn't have mental health issues. He wasn't grandeur. He was just a rock and roll, coke, alcohol drinking producer who never really thought about one day a retirement might happen. He's not actually at retirement age. I actually thought he was in his 70s, but hard paper around and all of this, he's actually in his 54. He's 54. And Jenny's not as old as she is. But tomorrow there's a meeting with the Roberts Centre, and anybody knows this all comes together. It's all about connecting the dots. And somebody like me is like, let me show you something quickly. I like puzzles, okay? As an only child, I played solitaire. I was an only child for a long time because my brother didn't come along until I was 13. So my brother Ryan didn't come into my life no, I wasn't. I was 11. I was 11 when my brother Ryan came into my life. I was 13 when my sister Helena came into my life. No, I wasn't. I was 50. Yes, I was. I was 13 when my sister Helena came into my life. I was 15 when my sister Francesca came into my life. Might have been 17. And Luke coming at the same time, and then Joanna was a year before. So I was an only child. So puzzles, solitaire, all things like that, Connect Four, blah, blah, blah. I spent a lot of time in caravans because my mum was dating a sidecar racer. My mum also temping bowled for Great Britain, not for a massive big long period of her time, but a short period of time. So I got to travel to Athens, things like that. So I'm a very well established traveled person, if that makes sense. And one of the problems that I'm having with all of this problem is in the UK and around the world is the same principle. Each office for the council, so county council office, basically has to apply for a budget per every single person that is on the electoral roll birth certificate system. NHS system, so your NHS number. So every person who has an NHS number all comes subdivided down per council. And I spoke to a police officer last night. I had a really interesting day yesterday. I'm having such a whirl of a time at the moment. It's so fucking funny. Talk about harvest and blessings and things coming around in co-symbioticness and co-creation, and I don't even want to say the word magical because I'm sort of very anti-spelling and words and the dark pagan witch world that goes on, and it does exist whether you believe it or not. So just because we've got my phone's plugged in, but just because we've got phones and coffee and the worst stimulation in the world, coffee. seriously. It's actually it's cocaine basically. It's the cocoa bean. So, and then sugar. So all these things that we're addicted to. But however, there has been a war on drugs for years. We, the human beings, have free will to do what we want, when we want, with who we like, how we like, doing what we like, when we like. We have free will. We were given that God-given right to be, yeah, not to do, but be, just exist, to just live. And the Lord had already provided us with our grains and our berries, and all nature provides absolutely everything that we need. There's nothing that we need to go to a shop to go and get. There's nothing that needs to be pre-packed and pre-cured. We will harvest and naturally eat when we're hungry. We're not even meant to have 3 meals a day, you fucking slaves. Do you know why I have 3 meals a day? So you could start work on a full stomach, you took a break, and then you finished, you had your dinner, and then you went back to work. That's why you have 3 meals a day. Your stomach will not naturally, I was just saying at the beginning of the live, it's very dark in here, and I'm a bit quiet because the boys are asleep on the sofa bed in the living room, and I rolled the blind down and I woke Shiloh, so it is still dark in here. I can go and sit in the kitchen or move that side, but I'm just about to do this. So my solicitor sacked me yesterday, by the way, not because we don't get on, but because I didn't submit paperwork in time. He's getting a bit annoyed with me, and because it's all being done on legal aid. They have to submit everything in a time frame because it's paid for by budget, and this is what I'm talking about. It's all about budget, where you get a budget from. So I got paid yesterday. I have a budget. It's really fucking annoying me because this budget's not big enough. And my mum obviously has helped me today. Well, not helped me, but keep me focused, because I know everything about homelessness and evictions and stuff. What toppled me and the kids previously to all of this when we got evicted was that I had an insecure tenancy. I have a secure tenancy now with the council. I've never been in council, and I've never been a priority for council housing. I've always been in private rental. My dad was a self-owned council person, and it was a very different environment growing up in council. Where I am here now, it's a very challenging place to live. There's, in fact, bless my little friend over at the play park yesterday. The play park staff discipline children, right? And there's a couple of kids that don't listen, and they have this thing where they go to the gate if they misbehave. Parents, it's a sign-in, sign-out place, so there's not many parents that actually sit in it. It's the same with the education system. There's not many parents that get involved with their children at school. They just dump them, see you later, bye, pick you up, how's your day, boom, boom. I was somebody who was on PTA, on the Doodah, did all the festivals, doing blah, blah, blah. You know, I got involved heavily. I would have been like school governor when the boys were at high school, but I started having problems with social services getting involved in my life through school because of the EDS, blah, 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 blah. It changes how people perceive you. It changes your reputation, blah, 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 blah. One of the things that I've got issues with, I got Graham, right? And there's 2 styles of PAs. There's a PA where I could claim carer's allowance for Graham and I would work. I wouldn't be able to have my children with me. There's a PA where Graham is self-employed and I'm self-employed, and we can make arrangements between ourselves when the children can be at work with me and when they can't. We have a private life and we have a state life. Everybody has an issue with privatisation. Privatisation has existed since the Knights of the Templars created the first ever money chain. Exchange for time and service and land has existed since Knights of Templar. Tax. So we, the UK people, really do have to take personal responsibility for our own lives. So I'll just show you here right now. I've got all this ready to do now myself while the boys are asleep, and then I've got Graham here to go and see if they are trying to file for Jenny being sectioned this week, and they want to section Graham as well. Shall I prove something to you? They're funny buggers with me, all of this stuff. Barclays. I haven't actually rang yet to cancel all my direct debits. I was just about to start doing all of it once I've got the list. This is from the Driver Vehicle License Agency. So basically, when you own a car here in the UK, I don't know what the rules are in other countries, but I know you don't have this. I haven't even had to wear a helmet on mopeds or cars in some countries, and do you know what I mean? So the rules in every country is very different. So this is the Driving Vehicle License Agency. So basically, in order to be able to drive a car in the UK, you have to pass a driving test. I understand this. You can get some absolute fucking idiots on the road causing a crash. Nobody wants to be killed. In Germany, there's no speed limit on the Autobahn, right? But they have less crashes, but these lorries go foo, foo, foo. Now, here in the UK, basically, just like a child, so when your child is born, we have exactly the same thing, because in the country, we're divided in subsections of transportation, health, blah, 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 education. So they have sent me another letter to say, we recently wrote to you requesting payment following a failed direct debit. Now, they wrote to me, right, to tell me that the bank had cancelled my direct debit. I've got the letter there as well. The bank did not cancel the bank did cancel my direct debit, sorry. But I didn't ask for them to do so. What's happening is I've got somebody on a computer, on a phone, in everything that I'm doing at the moment. Doesn't matter whether it's a job centre, it doesn't matter if it's Universal Credits, it doesn't matter if it's the bank, it doesn't matter if you're ringing a fucking call centre. You've got somebody who's got a little screen on the other side, and they've literally got to go do, and they've got to tick a box. And it's driving me nuts because of people that aren't understanding what I'm asking them to do. Whether it's because of this diagnosis Asperger's I've got, and there is a breakdown of communication, or if it's just that they're incompetent fucking idiots, or I'm an incompetent idiot. However, I'm getting a bit annoyed, so let me read you this from Portsmouth. Now, I did a live the other day, guys, and I made a formal complaint about me being in the glass room. Don't forget, I have to start going to the job centre now because I've put a signed 6.6 certificate in, and I have to start all of those, and I'm going to be going on to PIP and everything, and I have to put all these things in order to be able to have reasonable adjustments as a person with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and Asperger's. Now, I posted something the other day to say that we were all getting pulled up on a law that puts certain words in, and it was to do with swearing at authorities. I haven't sworn at anybody, so listen to this, and I'll tell you what this was over. I went to the job centre, I took my bag that had my medical notes in for my thing, bump on the table it went because it's fucking heavy, and I'm mostly risk like that. Next thing I've got 3 security, bump right behind me, and I've gone back. Next thing I know, I'm escorted out with 2 security, and I'm telling them if they walk around me again, I'm going to end up nutting one of them, and I wouldn't trigger off another like me right now. If one of them touches my baby yet again, I'll grab your hand and throw you across the desk. Yes, I did actually say this after they put me right under threat in front of everybody, and I stood firm, said it, and then turned my back and said, I suggest you stay there or I'm calling the police for stalking and harassment. This is a job centre for vulnerable people with mental health issues, disabilities, not a fucking probation office. And if you've got issues with people, take them down the probation office and deal with them at the police station and council, and not in here where you're meant to be helping people get back to work. So anyway, from that moment, I now go back in the glass house. I got a letter. Dear Ms. Cottam, we wrote to you on the 3rd of May to advise you that you'd been seen in a screening room, which you attended a job centre, which you attended a job centre in future. This is because you were loud, disruptive, abusive members of staff and banged the desk during your interview. Like I said, I put my box, my green file on the desk. Boom, it went. I went, my apologies. Boom, security. So anyway, and I had 2 kids with me. I'm writing to remind you that although this decision is reviewed regularly at present, this requirement is still in place. I have told them if they ever actually stick another claustrophobic, anxiety, high-ridden mum through that door and lock that door again on me and 2 children, then I'm actually going to do them for kidnap. It's abuse, especially if I can't have my money if I don't attend the job centre. But in order to attend the job centre, this is how they have to treat me. So Portsmouth Job Centre, I will get this edited and sent over to you. What you're doing is actually very, very nasty and very, very horrible. I have trigger trauma happy, you know, grief-ridden mum with 2 children, when you can have the police and security stood around me within seconds, and you wonder why I want to kill you people and protect my children and protect me and my physical body, when you can physically restrain me and hold me because I would sit under your mental health bracket, because I deal with grief and you know, through systematic abuse on a regular basis by people who don't understand me as a person, me as an individual living in a 1-bedroom flat who's only just managed to get a sofa bed down here to make it comfortable for me as a natural feeding mum, because I haven't been able to get it in the car, even though I've been able to get free ones, cheap ones. I just haven't been able to get it here. So it's taken for someone in the block here to be able to bring one down and bring it in. So, and it's going to cost me 20 quid. So I'm not only paying to build my life, I'm also paying people back who've helped people in the cause, that have done it as loans and not, you know, because that's what businesses do. They get loans, people sponsor, some people give it, some people gift it, some people want something in return, some people even want interest, you know what I mean? So I've done that to keep this going. It's all going to go out, websites and all this stuff that I haven't maintained, that fucking GoDaddy have brought back off me or shit like that. So just let it unfold, let it happen. I don't care whether it be good press or bad press. Let the people say what they've got to say. But anyway, I continue with this letter. Note the dates again. Right. Therefore, if you need to visit a job centre, any job centre, you will be asked to move away from the public area and into the screening room. This is why on the 11th of September at Portsmouth Job Centre, as you stated to the member of staff, you were seen in the classroom. While you were there, you were observed using your mobile phone to film, and you stated you were uploading the recording to YouTube. The Department of Work and Pensions, the department, does not permit anyone to film on its premises without permission. We are a major custodial of personal information, and it is important that customers individually and collectively are confident that we hold their personal information securely and that it is not disclosed to third parties who are not permitted to access it. This is one of the primary obligations imposed by the General Data Protection Regulation and the Data Protection Act of 2008. If we did not have such a rule in place, a breach of these laws would occur. In order to maintain this customer confidence, the department is obliged to take necessary steps to make sure you do not film or sound record other customers, which I haven't done, on any interview other than which can prove on the video. Other members of public who are present at the job centre who may not want to be filmed. I completely agree with this, and I'm glad I've got this now. I'm doing a film, because now I can write up the contracts that I can now ask people if I can do filming, so I can, this has really helped me. But anyway, it is possible for you that you may unintentionally film or record others' customers' personal information, which I totally understand, and I've always respected anyway. We are under legal duty to protect all those who enter the premises and ask visitors to comply, blah, blah, blah. I'm waking my son up talking. And then there's more stuff about if you wish, blah, 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 blah. I hope you now clear it's all filming. If you wish to contact me, we do not accept inquiries made by telephone or email. So I have to write to them again. This is getting interesting, because it's all going to go in the system, ready for when they come back. I'm waking Shiloh up. It's a bit early, let me get his bottle quickly. Anyway, guys, Shiloh needs to settle, and I'll get the kids ready for about 3. I'll go over to work with Graham at 3, and then over to Park 4, and then down to the sea, and then over to the church for our social, single, homeless, whatever people gather in the church. And I've got to do this, so I'm just going to quickly give you a list of things that I want you to get in order very, 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 very quickly. Utilities, telephone, taxes, rental mortgage, receipts, prescriptions, personal licenses, insurances, health benefits, finances, education, dental and medical, correspondence, bills, bank accounts, and car. Okay, and if you can get all them in order and basically deal with all of the obligations, then you can go from really surviving and struggling to completely thriving. And I'm going to give you all the free information along the way. But next year, I can't think what month it is now, but I'll be in Birmingham, and I'm hoping to take as many people as possible to come along with me. But I'm going to try and get a load of complimentary tickets, so I'll see how many I can get. So anyway, I'm going to let my kids sleep and catch up with you later. Please do this, because you're going to need it in the next stage when all the MPs come back. And really, really, really do get your paperwork in order. So your personal paperwork, black, and then next week I'll be going through all the court paperwork with you as I do mine. So see you later. Bye. Oh, and life is fucking amazing right now. But I'm not a baby mama. It's insulting.